Ladies and gentlemen, serial listeners, welcome back to episode 9 of the Totally Innocent Podcast. I'm your host, Alex Reichen, and this week we're doing something a little different. In episodes past, we've taken a look at adults killing kids. I'm looking at you, Angel of Death in Great Britain. What was your name? Beverly Allett. Today we're going to be looking at kids killing other kids, a little Killer Kids edition. And what we're going to be discussing today is the case of the Slender Man Stabbing. This was a huge news story back in 2014, and we are going to discuss that today. But first, I have a couple announcements, as per usual. I did get to see Space Jam 2 this last week. I thought it was pretty good. Critics currently tearing it apart, as they do. What I don't think they understand, though, is that Space Jam 1 wasn't a good movie. It just wasn't. It's a nostalgia bomb. It was a fun movie. Michael Jordan was not a good actor. LeBron James is not a good actor, but the movie did what it was supposed to do. It's just fun. Space Jam 1 was fun. Space Jam 2 is fun. Not every movie has to have a deep dive meaning into the meaning of life and why we're here, okay? So yeah, if you want to follow Cancel Cult Productions on Twitter, you can head on over to twitter.com @canceledcult1, the number 1, because some jackass decided they wanted to steal the handle and then get banned by breaching Twitter's terms of service. What a guy. What a guy. Head on over to facebook.com /canceledcult or @canceledcult over there. And on YouTube, you can find us at Cancel Cult Productions, but you got to use the search bar. I'm sick of telling you, stop being lazy about it. Okay? We got a giveaway going on right now. If you want to win a Grandma Jude's Special Vitamins t-shirt that I have not made the design yet for, leave a 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice if it allows reviews. And somebody's going to walk away with a Grandma Jude's Special Vitamins t-shirt. And I'm going to make one for myself because that's just the kind of person that I am, right? Head on over to thecanceledcult.com to stay up to date on all of our latest podcast information. If you want something read on the show, you want to tell me who to cover next, any information you want read on air, send an email over to cancelcultproductions@gmail.com. That is pretty much all the announcements that I have for this week. Oh, you can follow me on TikTok @McCavity, MICAVITY. You can find me over there. Probably start clipping some little aspects of the show to share over there every once in a while. And yeah, I say we hop into the Slender Man Stabbing case, where we talk about Peyton Lutner being stabbed 19 times by some fellow peers, right? So we'll hop on over there right now and then get you out of here on this lovely Wednesday afternoon. Let's run it. On May 23rd, 2014, in Waukesha, Wisconsin, two 12-year-old girls, okay, just keep that in mind, two 12-year-old girls, Anissa Wire and Morgan Geyser, lured their quote-unquote best friend, Peyton Lutner, into the woods and stabbed her 19 times. This was in an attempt to become proxies of the fictional character known as Slender Man. The victim crawled to the road where she was found and recovered 6 days in the hospital. The perpetrators were found not guilty by mental disease or defect, fucking incredible, and committed to mental health institutions for sentences of 25 and 40 years, respectively. That is insane to me. Okay? I don't get that. So, yes, this is the case of the Slender Man Stabbing. We will hop in, but first, I feel like for the people that don't know, we need to go over maybe what Slender Man or who Slender Man is. So, Slender Man is a fictional entity created on the Something Awful online forums, and it was created for a 2009 Photoshop paranormal image contest. Somebody created this character to enter this paranormal image contest. The Slender Man myth was later expanded by a number of other people who created fan fiction, additional artistic depictions of the entity, and much more. Slender Man is a tall, thin character with featureless white face and head. He is depicted as wearing a black suit because he's fancy like that, and sometimes shown with tentacles growing out of his back. Hot. According to the Slender Man myth, the entity can cause amnesia, bouts of coughing, paranormal behavior in bouts of coughing and paranoid behavior in individuals. Basically, they're saying anytime you're out smoking the devil's lettuce, he's probably hanging out in the background. He's often depicted hiding in the forest or stalking children. Okay, so what we know. we know that this entity was created for a 2009 Photoshop paranormal image contest, okay? An art contest somebody entered in. Later, fan fiction and other biography was written for the character. And these two fucking idiot girls, 12-year-old girl Anissa and Morgan, lured their best friend Peyton into the forest to try to appease the Slender Man and stabbed Peyton 19 times. Holy shit. Insane. Yes. So, next we will hop on over to the events of the attack, the court case and negotiations, appeal, where they're at now, the whole shebang. All right? So let's do that. This is the case of the Slender Man stabbing. Let's run it. So normally on the show, we are talking about things like high-profile murder, serial killers, etc., etc. The good news, if you can take any good news about being stabbed by your friends 19 times, is that Peyton Lutner actually survived this attack. So, there actually is no murder. Yay! Hooray! We will go over the story, though, because she has spoke out. When she was 17, she spoke out for the first time since the attack that happened when she was 12 years old. We kind of have a little bit of a timeline and a little bit of a story of what happened. So basically, Peyton befriended Morgan Geyser in the 4th grade. She first approached Morgan because she was sitting alone at the lunch table, only had a banana left, didn't have any food. All the other girls were pointing at her and telling her how stupid she was. So Peyton decided that she would approach her, and they became friends. They became best friends, actually. They hung out after school, had sleepovers, joked like little girls do, all the fun stuff. Morgan even gave Peyton a sweet little nickname, called her Bella. No idea why, right? Peyton, Bella. Bella's not even short for anything. She was my only friend for a really long time, Morgan told police in her taped interrogation after she was arrested. However, 2 years later in 6th grade, a new girl would join the fray. Anissa would join the friend group, and Morgan and Anissa would become friends more than they wanted to hang out with Peyton, right? Like, Peyton's there, but they're like, we don't really like you anymore. So those two began hanging out a lot. This is when Peyton would tell people that everything went downhill from there. Morgan and Anissa would become obsessed with Slender Man. It scared Peyton. She didn't like Slender Man. Have you seen him? I wouldn't like him either, to be honest. But she went along with it anyways. In a quote here, it says, Morgan liked it and thought it was real. But I went along with it. I was supportive because I thought that's what she liked. I think she's dumb. I don't believe in Slender Man because it's obviously not real. But because she's my friend, I'm going to pretend to like it. Like as you do as good friends, you know. As we know, based on the intro, Slender Man was created in 2009, was a creepypasta, basically a supernatural meme created in part of a Photoshop contest by something off of forum user Eric Knudsen. He was the original creator of Slender Man. Slender Man is a faceless, spindly specter who stalks children and whose myth has penetrated digital stories, web videos, now real life. He's also got tentacles, so I can only imagine what else has been penetrated by Slender Man. We're not talking about kids here. We'll move on. It even inspired a 2018 movie called Slender Man, I believe, starring Joey King, and I believe that's on Netflix. So if you're looking for a movie to kind of see what Slender Man looks like, you can watch the Slender Man movie. The three friends here would have a sleepover the night before the stabbing. Peyton's mother, in a quote here, says, "It was Friday night. She was so excited. Her friends were coming over. They were going to play with dolls. They were going to have laughs, good times." According to Peyton, the trio were celebrating Morgan's birthday with a slumber party this evening. But the regular old night of roller skating, pizza, and playing with their American Girl dolls turned odd. Peyton said that looking back, the sleepover was a little bit different than the other ones. Morgan didn't want to stay up all night like they normally did. She wanted to go to bed. I wonder why she wanted to go to bed. Probably went to bed, right? Prayed to Slender Man and said, the next morning, we're going to go to the park and we're going to have some real fun. That's when the fun is. That's where the party's at. She says, I was told that if I didn't do something, my family would be in danger. This is what Anissa said. I apologize. Anissa would be quoted here saying, I was told that if I didn't do something, my family would be in danger. This is what she explained in her taped interrogation. According to the 12-year-old, she feared that if she didn't honor Slender Man's request to kill Peyton, he would murder her entire family, as one does, right? Insane. So the attack actually first started in the park bathroom. So, right, they go to bed early, evidently, fucking loser. Evidently, they go to bed early, and the first thing that they're going to do is go to the park. When they get to the park, the attack first starts in the bathroom at the park. Anissa tried to knock Bella out. Bella got all mad and stuff, and I was pacing in circles. This is what Morgan told police. According to TMJ4 News, Peyton stayed with the girls even though they just tried to fight her. Anissa and Morgan then led Peyton into the woods where they would finish their attack. So they just decided that they wanted to start beating your ass, but you're going to still stay and hang out anyway instead of going home. I personally would have gone home several times over by this point. After this, the attack occurs. Morgan stabs Peyton 19 times. This was on May 31st, 2014. Reports vary on the exact details, mostly because Morgan and Anissa offered differing stories during their interrogations, both pointing the finger at each other. It was her fault. No, it was her fault. Yeah, right. It was her fault. The most factual thing, though, is that Morgan did stab Peyton repeatedly, 19 times, with a kitchen knife. Where the hell did you get that? While Anissa stood watch nearby. I have wanted to hurt people before, but they're not nice to me. So, they deserved it, Morgan said to detectives. Peyton was stabbed on her chest, abdomen, arms, and legs. Yikes. You know, she had 5 wounds on her arm, 7 wounds on her leg. The rest were scattered throughout her torso. And I believe that she actually had a few major organs struck as well. So it's lucky that she's alive. After this, a biker would happen upon a blood-soaked Peyton and call 911. Greg Steinberg, the fucking legend that he is, was out riding his bike, being physical, on this Saturday morning. According to reports, he took a route through the bush that was chained off and then happened to ride by Peyton, who was laying in a grassy area after crawling out of the woods because she's a fucking legend, where she was stabbed. She stopped him, asking, "Excuse me, sir, can you help me, please? I've been stabbed multiple times." Jesus Christ. Steinberg immediately called 911, then offered her some water. That's hilarious to me, right? Like, this is a shit situation. But so 911, what's your emergency? Yeah, this girl, she's been stabbed 19 times. We need someone to get out here ASAP. Hurry up. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Did you need some water? That was very rude of me. I'm sorry. Do you need some water? Yeah. On the call with 911, though, he can be heard comforting Peyton, saying, "Honey, he's coming. They'll be here any minute." Soon after, an ambulance had arrived. The absolute amazingness that she was still conscious after being stabbed 19 times. She did get struck in major organs, and she crawled out of the fucking woods and just survived, dude. That's insane. After this, Stacy and Joe Lutner, her parents, would get the news about their daughter. On Saturday morning, a uniformed police officer approached the Lutner property. Lutner? According to Stacy, her first thought was, something has happened to somebody that I love. That's usually what happens when a uniformed police officer approaches your home and isn't trying to kick the door down or yelling, "This is the police. Open up. We have a warrant for your arrest." Both parents said they were blindsided. Minutes later, they rushed to the hospital after that. Morgan and Anissa would run away. The cops would find them shortly after. According to reports, the girls tore off through the woods. They just were booking it. Now that the deed was done, they needed to get to Slender Man's house. Okay, Rolling Stone would explain that the mansion where Slender Man mythically dwells is located somewhere within Wisconsin. Convenient. and it's in Nicollet National Forest there in Wisconsin. We tried to find Slender Man, Morgan confirmed to investigators. Didn't find him. Unbelievable. Heard he had some swanky digs up there. We could never find the house, unfortunately. He said he'd be right back. In December 2017, Anissa would receive the maximum 25 years in a mental health facility after pleading guilty to being an accomplice to second-degree intentional homicide. And in February 2018, Morgan received 40 years in a mental hospital after pleading guilty to attempted first-degree intentional homicide. It's a long time, but this is an issue with community protection. This is an issue to be sure there's no recidivism. This is an issue to ensure that Miss Geyser doesn't have a revolving door situation where she could end up in the community and then things fall apart and she comes right the fuck back. That's what Judge Michael Boren said to the New York Times. Basically, bitches be tripping. We can't have them out there with all of the children. Bars. Drop the bars. So that was an account of what had happened based on Peyton speaking out for the first time since the attack, right? So now, there's a couple other things that we want to share. Teenager in Slender Man Stabbing is ordered released from mental hospital. That's crazy. We'll get to that one later. It is reported here that Megan Geyser, during the whole, judge stabby thing where they were talking to the judge getting sentenced, she was unfit to stand trial. When she finally did get on the stand at some point, she did actually say that she talks to unicorns and Lord Voldemort. So, I don't know. At 12 years old, do you know what you're doing? Right? Do you know that you're actually trying to fake crazy so you don't get the book thrown at you? Or is she actually fucking nuts? She called him Voldy, reportedly. Voldy. That's nuts. Yeah, that is banana bonkers. So yeah, the actual attack did take place at David's Park there in Wisconsin during a game of hide and seek. So evidently when they couldn't knock Peyton out and instead of going home, she was like, ow, why would you do that? Let's go play on the monkey bars. Evidently they decided that, hey, we're going to play some hide and seek. Got out to the woods. Littner was pinned down by Morgan and stabbed 19 times in the arms, leg, and torso with a 5-inch long, 13-centimeter blade. 2 wounds were major organs. Okay, so I was right. One missed a major artery in her heart by less than a millimeter, and another went through her diaphragm, cutting into her liver and stomach. Ouch! That gotta fucking hurt. Wire and Geyser told Littner that they would find help, but they did not. They just didn't. So after the stabbing occurred, they got up. And they're like, "Oh my god, what do we do? We're gonna get help. We'll be back." They never came back. After Peyton, was laying there for a while, and she thought, these bitches actually ain't coming back. She drug herself out of the woods to a nearby road and was found by the cyclist. Perfect. Cyclist then called 911. Wire and Geyser were apprehended near Interstate 94 at Steinhaffel's furniture store after walking 5 miles from the scene. The knife used in the stabbing was in a bag that they carried, just in a pink and white backpack. Like cute kids going to school. Backpacks. Then there's a bloody fucking knife in it. Geyser felt no empathy, but Anissa was described as feeling guilt for stabbing the victim, but felt that the attack was needed to appease Slender Man. Littner left the hospital 7 days after the attack. She returned to school in September of 2014. Yes, I don't have my pod track before, otherwise I would be giving the claps, the applause to you, Peyton. Awesome. So now we're going to get a little bit more into the trial and the, what they got hit with and what they're in for. And then we'll take a look at where they're at now. And then we'll get you out of here on your lovely Wednesday afternoon. So let's run it. So while we are here, let's just say that both of the girls when they got to sentencing, or when they got to the trial, were tried as adults. They had no opportunity to be tried as juveniles. When it came to the courts, they were both tried as adults. In 2017, Wire, or Anissa, pleaded guilty to being a party to attempted second-degree homicide. A jury then found her not guilty by mental disease or defect. Geyser accepted a plea offer under which she would not go to trial and would be evaluated by a psychiatrist to determine how long she should be placed in a mental hospital. She later pleaded guilty, but was not found guilty by the reason of mental disease or defect, and was diagnosed with schizophrenia, from which her father also suffers. So, maybe she wasn't fucking faking it. Maybe she actually is crazy. Not in a bad way. Mental illness, I know. We talk about it a lot on the show. Anissa was sentenced to 25 years to life indeterminate sentence involving at least 3 years locked confinement and involuntary treatment in a state psychiatric ward, followed by a communal supervision until age 37. Geyser was sentenced to the maximum 40 years to life, in indeterminate sentence involving at least 3 years locked in confinement, in addition to involuntary treatment in a state psychiatric ward until complete resolution of symptoms or until the age of 53, whichever may happen first. Followed by continued communal supervision, periodic reevaluations, and or reinstitutions of further treatments as needed, as required by the sentence imposed. While Geyser will periodically have opportunity to petition for her release from a mental health facility in the future, she will remain under institutional care for the duration of her sentence. During her trial, Geyser has been committed to the Winnebago Mental Health Institute. That sounds like the trashiest hospital I've ever heard. The Winnebago. Come on down to the Winnebago Mental Health Hospital. I don't know. At a court hearing on March 10, 2021, Wire, who was by then 19, submitted a letter to the court stating that she was, quote-unquote, sorry and deeply regretful for the agony, pain, and fear I have caused. Sorry. Didn't mean to. Not just Lutner, but to my community as well, quote-unquote. Wire stated that I hate my actions. May 31st, 2014 have brought, but through countless hours of therapy, I no longer hate myself for them. You should. The judge set a court date of June 2021 to consider her request. And on July 1st, 2021, Waukesha, is that how you say it? Waukesha County Judge Michael Boren, again, the legend, who is now not a legend, ordered her release from the Winnebago Mental Health Institution Hospital. Gave state officials 60 days to draw up conditional release plan and required that Wire be assigned State Department of Health Services case managers to track her progress until she's 37 years old, the length of her commitment. So she just gets to get out and walk free? Am I getting that correct? If I'm not, if I'm reading that wrong, let me know. Send me an email over at cancelcodeproductions@gmail.com, and we can have a conversation. That is insane. In 2020, Geyser also filed for appeal. Appeals court rejected this. She wanted to be retried as a juvenile for the whole case. Her attorney, Matthew Penix, argued that she should have been charged with attempted second-degree intentional homicide rather than first, and argued that Geyser gave statements to investigators before being read her Miranda rights. He has petitioned the state Supreme Court to review the ruling. So far, they have not. Good. So, the aftermath of this whole case was pretty nuts. The Waukesha School District decided that, hey, we should probably block the creepypasta wiki throughout all of our schools, just so nobody else ever reads about Slender Man again. On a Tuesday following the stabbing, Slender Man creator Eric Knudsen had said, I am deeply saddened by the tragedy in Wisconsin, and my heart goes to the families of those affected by this terrible act. Absolutely. Eric, you have nothing to be sorry for, right? You just created the character. You did not intend for this to happen. So I don't see anything wrong with Eric Knudsen still just hanging around, creating just amazing paranormal art. Let's see here. The administrator of the creepypasta wiki had said that the stabbing was an isolated incident that did not accurately represent the creepypasta community. He also stated that creepypasta wiki was a literary website, and he did not condone murder or satanic rituals. Good. Members of the creepypasta community held a 24-hour live stream on YouTube on June 13th and 14th, 2014, to raise money for the stabbing victim. Awesome fucking people. Joe Jazwowski, an administrator on creepypasta website, said the purpose of the stream was to show that members of the community cared about the victim and did not condone real-world violence because they enjoyed fiction that contains violence. Abso-fucking-lutely. On August 12th, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker issued a proclamation declaring Wednesday, August 13th, 2014, Purple Hearts for Healing Day, and encouraged the people of Wisconsin to wear purple on that day to honor the victim of the stabbing. He also praised the strength and determination. Abso-fucking-lutely. This girl got stabbed 19 times, 2 vital organs struck. She crawled out of the woods by herself and got to this bicycle and didn't even ask for water the entire fucking time. Absolutely outstanding. The city of Madison, Wisconsin held a one-day bratwurst festival to honor the victim on August 29th. I don't like how they say the victim. To honor Peyton. Several days before before Peyton returned to school, hot dogs and bratwurst were sold to raise money towards Peyton's medical costs. The event was run by over 250 volunteers and raised $70,000 for Peyton. Awesome. That's all well and dandy, but this entire thing that happened, this whole stabbing, we've been there with video games. Us gamers look at people like this and say, first time. Caused a debate on the effect of internet on children, right? The stabbing resulted in an extensive debate about the role of the internet in society and its effects on children. Russell Jack was the police officer in Waukesha, said that the stabbing should be a wake-up call for parents, adding that the internet is full of information and wonderful sites that teach and entertain, but that it can also be full of dark and wicked things. That's true. So can movies, so can literally every other form, so can books, right? Do you just want me to read novels the rest of my life? U.S. government, right? Handmaid's Tale, right? Like that isn't violent. Unbelievable. Let's see. John Egelhoff, a retired agent of the FBI, argued that the internet had become a black hole with the ability to expose children to a more sinister world. Shut the fuck up. John Egelhoff? What the fuck kind of name is that? He suggested that the best way to avoid future incidents was for parents to keep track of their children's web habits and educate them on the difference between right and wrong. This bitch had schizophrenia. It had nothing to do with violence. Listen, brother, I've watched 4 episodes of TV today where people are getting murdered and killed. I play video games all the time. Grand Theft Auto 5, where I'm killing people. Guess who doesn't do it in real life? Me. Want to know why? Because I don't have a mental illness like that. It doesn't affect people that way. Let's see. Shira Chess, an assistant professor of mass media arts at the University of Georgia, stated that creepypasta was no more dangerous than stories about vampires and zombies. Thank the fucking Lord, someone with some common sense. She argued that creepypasta websites were beneficial and that they gave people the opportunity to become better writers. Thank you, Shira. Shira. No, that's Shakira. Anyway. Yeah, I can't believe they're gonna let this. This little lady out. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. Can I get out? Sure. What? Are you kidding me? It's absolutely bananas. She's gonna get out in September, so that's where they're at now. I really don't care what Morgan's up to. She's the one that actually did a majority of all the stabbing, and she's kind of just an asshole, right? But yeah, so evidently, Anissa's going to get out. And again, I'm just kind of confused. So they're just going to let her get out and walk around and just have people check in on her until she's 37? Is that what's going on? I really don't know. I don't know. I wish I did. But, I can't imagine that the parents are good with this. Speaking as someone who understands the feeling that you get when someone that did you wrong doesn't get what they deserve, I could imagine that, I'm sorry, isn't fucking good enough, right? A lot of people don't know this. I had a best friend that got murdered in 2019. His name was Otis. He was my best friend. Absolutely just amazing guy. The guy that killed him and took him away from everybody just had his sentencing at the beginning of this year because of COVID last year. All the courts and stuff were kind of slow moving. He got 20 years, I think. And that wasn't enough to me, right? Yes, Peyton survived. That is fantastic. That doesn't excuse the actions, okay? I don't care if you have schizophrenia or if you were told that Slender Man is going to murder your entire family if you don't help me kill this bitch. It's not enough. The actions are still there. You still contributed to an attempted murder, and you got to just hang out in a mental facility for 3 years, and now you just get to fucking walk around? I can't imagine anybody is okay with that. I can't imagine Peyton's family's okay with that. I can't imagine that Peyton is okay with that. I don't give a shit if you're sorry. You still did it, right? You still did it. Sure, I could be sorry for a lot of things that I've already done, but it's not going to change the fact that it's already been done. I don't know. I feel like rehabilitation for something like that, 3 years, just not quite enough. At least to me. At least to me, it's not quite enough. Anyway, guys, that's going to be the podcast this week. Getting a little worked up. I'm going to close it out here. We're just gonna come back next week, fresh and clear, minded. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I don't know who we're gonna do next week yet, giggity. But it's gonna be a banger, per usual, always is. So tune in. Thank you guys coming back week to week. I know who you are. I got analytics. You can try to hide. You really can't. I see you every week. Appreciate it a lot. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get. So when I'm gonna get, then you gonna get on this lovely Wednesday afternoon. Yeah, you guys have a fantastic week. I will see you next week for another episode. You take care.